Originally, I heard from you before the episode that actually you studied commerce. So what made you decide to shift your career from commerce to directing?
Actually, the question is, why did I ever study commerce? Because I was not into commerce any at all. Actually, I was very passionate about cinema since I was a child. So it took me a while to decide to work in cinema. So when I finished university and I started working, I started to look for places to study cinema independently. So I found a place which was Art Lab then, and I studied 2 years. For 2 years, it was from 2004 to 2006. And actually, when I started studying, I didn't know that I wanted to be a director. I just wanted to study cinema. I didn't know what to do. So I told them at the beginning that I want to write, because it was easier to say, because when you write, you don't deal with so much people. And then after a while, when I started studying, I realized that I was really more interested in directing. So I made some projects, and at the end of the 2 years, I made my graduation project. It was called Herman. It was a short story by Ahdaf Souif, and I really enjoyed it when I made this film. So I decided that I should be a director.
Yeah, I heard that actually Ragela or Herman actually won more than 10 awards at different film festivals. Would you tell us more about the story of it?
Well, it was a short story by Ahdaf Souif, and actually it was written in English. And when I decided to make it, I read it years before, and when I was looking for something to make as my graduation project, I remembered it, but it was I liked it very much, that I was really very afraid to do it, because I thought that I would ruin the story, because it's very good. And then we had there was Saad Hindawi. He was responsible for the short projects. And then I told him about this story, and he told me, oh, it's great, you should do it. And actually he encouraged me very much to do it, and I wrote the script for the adaptation for the story. And it was my first time to write any script, actually. It was a nice experience, because it was my first time to do everything, and it was nice because I didn't have many people to assist me in the project. So I got involved in many things, including costumes and art direction, because I didn't have someone who was responsible for this. And this made me, actually I gained the experience.
Benefited from it. You also did a documentary about Madiha Kamel.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Madiha Kamel, and what was your method of research to be able to do a film about her, and which aspect of her life or which angle did you concentrate on?
Well, it was during when we were studying. We had projects every level. We had to make a project, and then we had a project to make a documentary about someone who passed away, and we had the freedom to choose anyone. So I chose to do it about Madiha Kamel, because I liked her very much as an actress, and I thought she was an underrated actress, actually. I was I was really very interested to know about her life. So it was not a big project or anything. It was just a project, a student's project. But I did it because I liked her, actually. And usually I do the projects because of this. It's usually something that interests me, that is interesting for me, and that's why I always make films. It was because I liked her very much as an actress, actually.
So it was more pro her.
Yeah. And actually it was a research about her life.
Was it her biography or her works more?
Both. It was about both, and it was and actually I was researching the time that she decided to quit acting, and why did she do this, and her life afterwards, and that was very interesting for me because I never knew why she decided to leave.
So since you know, would you tell us why did she decide to leave?
No, you have to watch the other film.
Yeah. So out of the many works of Madiha Kamel, which one you really enjoyed? As during your research, you must have looked at some of her works. Which one you really enjoyed?
And there's a film that I love. It's by Ra'fat Elmi. It was his first film. It was called Ayun La Tanem. It was Madiha Kamel, Ahmed Zaki, and Farid Shawqi, and I really loved this movie, and I think it was her best work. And I think the movie it's not screened very much.
It's not often screened.
It's not often screened.
Yeah.
I really love this film, and actually I made an interview with Ra'fat Elmi at the time, and we spoke about it, and we spoke about how he worked with her in this project. So yeah, it's my favorite film of her, actually.
سكتني عشان ما اقولش لاخوك على اللي بتعمله في الورشه بعد نصف الليل.
ملوش لزوم الكلام ده. من هنا ورايح مفيش داعي تنضفي اوضتي. وهدومي انا هغسلها.
الكلام ده تقوله لاخوك مش ليا انا. انا هنا عبد المأمور. وان كنت خايف لاحط لك حاجه ولا اعمل لك عمل، الحكايه ما بقتش مستاهله.
انا بس شايفك بتتعبي.
قلبك عليا قوي.
You have different types. You've done different types of films because you've done a documentary about Madiha Kamel, then you've done something about dancing.
Yeah.
What type of dancing did you tackle in your documentary or other documentary?
It was something كده. It was something about people who dance. I was looking
dancers. So the people were the topic.
Not even dancers. People who just go for dance classes or dancers or people who dance
as
in
a
different
hobby?
ways.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them about their feeling of dancing and why do they do it and how do they feel when they do it. And it was because I like it very much also. It was something كده. I was looking for something, I don't know what, but I was looking for something about the feeling of dancing for different people.
So it was mainly the inner feeling and the joy of dancing within the person rather than the type of dance they perform or do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very psychological, you know?
Maybe.
So Spring '89, in it, actually, according to what I've read, that it's about teenage and adolescence feelings. Would you tell me more about it and about how did you get the idea? How did you fulfill it or actually manage to direct it?
It was written by Wissam Suleiman, who's a well-known writer.
Yeah.
And at the time I was working with with Muhammad Khan. I was his assistant in a project, and then Wissam had this script and this short film, and he told me about it before, and then she asked me to read it, and I read it, and I liked it very much. It was about two girls in their teen years, and it was in 1989. So there was something of a tribute to the 80s. And then I liked the script very much, and she told me, I want you to do it, and I think you'll do it good. And she watched my first film, Herman, and she told me that she liked it, and then we started working, and it was all shot in Helwan. It was about the two girls from Helwan who and about their school days, their last school days. Actually, they were like 17. And I'm usually very interested in teenagers. In even in my first feature film, I have teenage characters, teenagers, that I'm usually. I'm very interested in this stage of life.
Yeah.
And then it was about girls and the way they perceive boys at this age, and the way they lie to each other, and every girl wants to be perfect. And it was something that when I read, actually, I thought that I knew the characters very well, and when I was making the film, there was Shahira Nosaf. She was the art director in the film, and she was with me at school, and we used to remember how we were in school, and when we started preparing for the project, we got all of the details that we had in school, and and between the girls and everything. But it was very enjoyable, to do.
When you're working on a short feature or any film you're directing in general, do you plan it precisely, or sometimes you tend to improvise?
Usually I plan precisely, but when I made my first feature film, I was not like this, because I used to plan everything. But after a while, I started to think that when you plan everything, there's nothing spontaneous, and especially with the actors, actually. With experience,
you gave them some room?
Yeah, because it's better, because when you tell them exactly what you want, you don't give them the freedom to express themselves. And sometimes they surprise you, and it turns out much better, actually, when they surprise you. So when I was working on my feature film, and I learned this from the documentary, because before when I was doing short films, I was always very precise. And then I made a documentary, which was The Good, the Bad, and the Politician, the segment of The Bad. When I was working in this segment, we were shooting with policemen, so it was not very easy to get them to talk. So I was always trying to make them at ease, to get them to talk. And then after I finished this project, I decided that when I work later, that I should give people room to express themselves.